Because I've already paid for it. How much was this?
Might as well read it.
It's like $18. I already have it. It'll take me 2 years to read all of it, but
No, it won't take you that long.
you're right. You only have less than a month.
I'm trying to get like.
All right, so 700 pages, so read 200 a week. You're good.
And that breaks it down.
Pour yourself into it. Okay. All right, so I was missing a lot of people on the other days. And so we watched a century video that I did not do, that somebody else did. That's pretty good, 1929, 1936. You can take time to watch that. I would recommend that you watch, I tried to keep it 30 minutes, the video I put up. Okay, so if you missed, it's not a super long video. Okay? All right, and we did these two slides. We did WPA or PWA. What the hell?
So you're going backwards. Oh, there we go.
We did WPA and PWA. WPA and PWA and WPA. Okay. We did those two slides. Okay. Another political cartoon here, guys. Just kind of going on more about the spending on all this. Okay, you got Harry Hopkins, who is Roosevelt's close advisor. You need more work relief. You've got the dole over here. That's your welfare. Okay, industry saying, how are we going to pay for this? And then Congress comes in, says, step aside, boys. I'll handle this as the national budget sails away. Yes. And then some public works workers here building something. They're building lots of stuff, including the Yorktown, okay? And then this is the Milwaukee County Courthouse, okay, which is still standing today. Lots of projects. I talked about things like Lawrence Dumont Stadium and other things as well, okay? So lots of building projects, yes?
Yes.
Roads, bridges, sewers, schools, post office, all kinds of stuff, okay? Now, we're in the second 100 days here, right? And so Roosevelt, you think he's receiving any criticism?
Yes.
You think from Republicans?
Yes.
But he's also going to get hit hard from the left. That people that don't feel he's doing enough. Okay? So we're going to call this thunder from the left and the right. Okay?
Not doing enough.
Yeah, like not enough.
What?
Oh, yeah. Not enough socialism. Maybe not enough fascism. Okay?
Pick a side.
Now starting with the right. This is the logo of the American Liberty League. So this was formed, okay, guys, back in 2010, when for the first time in American history, we had a $1 trillion deficit in 1 year when Obama was president. There was a group of people that got together that called themselves the Tea Party group. You guys ever heard of this?
Oh, yeah.
The Tea Party? Yeah. Okay. This was a response to budget issues and the amount of, money the government spends. This group was formed to combat radicalism, preserve property rights, and uphold the Constitution. Now, they're trying to combat radicalism, but within the American Liberty League, if you do a little research like I did, I found out that there was actually an assassination plot against Roosevelt found within the American Liberty League. So while they were combating radicalism, they had some radicals in their own organization. Okay. Now, obviously, guys, socialism is something that people are upset about. All this stuff that the government is doing, violating the Constitution here and there. Okay. So people are upset about it. They form this league. Now, from the left, now I was gone the day I showed the video. There was like, I don't know, 6 of you here. Something like that. Did anybody take time to watch the video?
Yeah, I actually did. There was someone from the South who people liked.
Yeah, that guy on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He started like.
Yeah. Huey Long.
Yeah, and then he got assassinated.
Yeah. Huey Long. Guys. Now, guys, this is one of the great characters in American history, Huey Long. He's the governor of Louisiana. Okay, now I spent 6 months living in Louisiana. Okay, talk about culture shock. That place is crazy down there. Okay, especially you go south of there, New Orleans. Any of you guys been to New Orleans? Okay, it's like visiting another country within your own country. Yeah, it's a different place. You do have a lot of French-speaking people down there, and then you have the people that live down south in the Delta. Okay, and they talk funny. These are Cajun people, right? Or Creole people. All right, little French influence, American influence, Southern influence. Okay, it's a strange thing down there. Okay, but you will find nowhere, with the exception of maybe Italy, where the food is so good. Okay. Now, when I moved to Louisiana in 1995, I went to work at a print shop, designing print advertising at a print shop. And so I was doing graphic arts. You guys know graphic arts on a computer, okay? And I had this woman that sat next to me that spoke English, but I couldn't understand what she was saying, okay? We refer to these people as coon asses, okay, from the bayou. And they talk real funny like that, you know what I'm saying, like that. And we're gonna go over here, and then we're gonna get some shrimp, and we're gonna have some sausage, and some of that. Okay, we're gonna go do that, we have crawfish boil. I would talk like that, okay? But you know, and with a heavy accent, these people are really kind of hard to understand. Now, Huey Long, as governor, wanted to run for president. In 1936, he wanted to challenge Roosevelt for the Democratic ticket. As Lipinski told us, he never got that chance. He was assassinated. But he had something called Share the Wealth program, where every man would be a king. Every man would have a car. Every man would have a house. Every man would have all the things that go in that house. Every man would have a radio, and so forth. Okay? Guys, this is maybe beyond socialism. Okay? It's pretty radical. But listen, we are in the depths of the Depression. And people are hurting. And people like the message, but every man will be a king. Now, how do you make a poor man a king? You take it from the rich. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you a video of Huey Long talking with some coon ass. Okay? My browser's up to date. Yes, browse YouTube. I clicked the link. Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Stop sleeping. Yeah, here we go. Is that cool now? It's good and coffee. Let me go already.
What are you guys talking about? We're talking about Huey Long. Okay?
According to the tables which we have assembled, it is our estimate that 4% of the American people own 85% of the wealth of America. And that over 70% of the people of America don't own enough to pay the debts that they owe. How many men ever went to a barbecue and would let one man take off the table what's intended for 9/10 of the people to eat? The only way you'll ever be able to beat the balance of the people is to make that man come back and bring back some of that grub he ain't got no business.
So they got to bring back some of that grub.
The balance of the people. What's Morgan and Baruch and Rockefeller and Mellon going to do with all that grub? They can't eat it. They can't wear the clothes. They can't live in the house. Give them a yacht. Give them a palace. Send them to Reno and give them a new wife when they want it. That's what they want. But when they've got everything on the God's living earth that they can eat and they can wear and they can live in, all that their children can live in and wear and eat and all their children's children can use, then we got to call Mr. Morgan and Mr. Mellon and Mr. Rockefeller back and say, come back here. Put that stuff back on this table here that you took away from here, that you don't need. Leave something else for the American people to consume. And that's the problem. We're not going to destroy the Gulf Refining Company. We're not going to destroy the Standard Oil Company. But we're going to say that the limit of any one man's stock ownership in the Standard Oil Company is from $3 to $5 million to that individual, and that the balance of the people of America own the balance of what the Standard Oil Company is worth. All right. Then we start from the bottom. That the 25 or more million American families shall have a homestead, a home, and the comforts of a home, including an automobile and a radio, the things it takes in that house to live on. We say to America, 125 million, none shall be too big, none shall be too poor, none shall work too much, none shall be idle. No luxurious mansions empty, none walking the streets, none impoverished, none in pestilence, none in want, but in the land blessed by the smile of the Creator, with everything to be consumed, to be eaten, to be worn, and America will become a land bearing the fruits of the land, not for the favored few, not to satisfy greed, but that all may live in a land in which the Lord has provided an abundance sufficient for the luxury and convenience of the people in general. That's it.
Roosevelt privately called Huey Long the most dangerous man in America. Okay. And Roosevelt's pretty liberal. Okay. So Huey, as the video shows, he's got his own private security force. He is a beloved figure. If nothing else, he's entertaining to watch. He was trying to do some of this in Louisiana. And like I said, wanted to run for president. And he was at the state capitol. And you can go to the state capitol in Baton Rouge today and see the bullet holes in the building that missed him. But there were bullets that hit him, and he was assassinated. So he never got to run for president. But there's bridges named after him. I saw a community center in Del City, Oklahoma, a couple years ago, named Huey Long Rec Center. Okay, he had support not just in Louisiana, but other people that thought like he did on this sort of thing. Okay, politics in Louisiana is a strange thing. In 1994, my wife lived in Louisiana for 12 years. Okay, for governor of Louisiana in 1994, here were your choices for governor: The Democratic nominee was a guy named Edwin Edwards. Edwin Edwards was the former governor of Louisiana who had been impeached and went to jail for taking kickbacks from the mob to build casinos in New Orleans. He went to jail, got out of jail, and was running for governor again. The Republican candidate for governor in 1994 in Louisiana was the former Louisiana Grand Dragon of the KKK, David Duke. I won't tell you who my wife voted for, but I'll tell you who won. The convicted felon, Edwin Edwards. Okay. Now, David Duke, he apologized for his support of the Klan and, took back everything he said over the previous 20 years. Okay. But he was defeated. Now, guys, Louisiana is crazy. All right. Their politics are crazy, but their people are pretty awesome. And this is one of my favorite people ever from Louisiana. And you guys ever watch like the Food Channel?
Yes.
Do they have chefs on there?
Yes.
Okay. This was one of the first ones ever on TV. His name is Justin Wilson. Get this ad done.
I was gonna say,
What I got you in this pot, what I told you about how to make.
He's gonna make some gumbo.
That's some chicken. That's a baking hen that I'm gonna use. Right here, I got the rest of the stuff I'm gonna put on that. You don't have to put much on this, really and truly. I got some sausage right here too. That's a gumbo sausage. First, you make a roux. Know that. Make a roux. Put about 3/4 of a cup of olive oil in there. Olive oil. And I also too, I put about 1.5 cups of flour. You put about 2 to 1. And you cook that until it's, you see, that's gonna burn. But that's not what it did. So you gotta cook that dust chocolate right there. You see? It's so pretty.
No,
Dirty roux.
it's roux.
Right
It's a
there.
roux. It's flour.
That roux. And put the rest of the stuff on that roux and cook it in there a little bit before I put the chicken. I got 1 big onion. It's about 1 cup. 1 cup of onion, large one. Put that on the roux. Turn the roux up a little bit. Not much goes in, not much seasoning goes in chicken gumbo because it don't need much. You stir it in the roux. And you cook them onions until they clear. You think they're clear now. You can't read the newspaper through them, but they look clear, you know. Oh man, that's a good roux. Oh, that's the kind we like to make sandwiches out of, you know. Oh yeah, I see that all the time. Now, as soon as I get this going like this, over here like this, like that. Get those onions clear. Then I'm gonna put something else. Now, a lot of people, when they make chicken gumbo, they brown their chicken off. We call brown off, and sometimes you use the grease, but we brown them chicken off to make the roux. But I want to tell you, that's hard to do, so I don't do it that way. And also, too, it does not give the flavor to the gumbo. When you brown the chicken off, you lose some of the flavor of the chicken. What I do is, I get my onion cleared here and get a little juice, which I got a little juice already. I put my garlic, which is just 1 large clove of garlic chopped up real fine. In the reading, I always wait like a juice, like I always told people. The garlic will get hard and lose its flavor if you don't did that. Now, got that like that. Put it on there, and I got a few other things I got to put on here too. Like I use wine when I make my gumbo. I got 4 cups of sauterne, 4 cups of water. I'm gonna put on here.
say 4 cup or 4 what?
What I like to do is put my water first.
Lily, we gotta try this from scratch.
I mix with the water. Turn the fire up. I'm gonna let some hot on it. You gotta watch them hot with the roux because you can burn the roux, but not after you get some water on it like that. Put it in, get this.
Okay. There's lots of Justin Williams. Lots of Justin Williams. Okay. Just look him up. Justin Wilson, Gumbo. Okay. Gumbo. Now, how many of you guys have had gumbo before? All right, good. We make it at our house, what, 3 or 4 times a year? Or that. No. There's a couple mixes that we tried.
Did you make a good ring?
It kind of comes in a package. So, yeah. Okay, let's talk about Father Coughlin. Any of you guys heard of this guy? He is the radio priest, they call him, and had a huge following on the radio. And as you know, somebody believes in social justice and so forth, he didn't feel like Roosevelt was doing enough for the poor. Okay, so he turned on Roosevelt. That's not good. Okay, and then you got this guy, Dr. Francis Townsend. Now, Townsend's a self-proclaimed advocate for the elderly, and he says, I got an idea to help the old people in this country. It's kind of an interesting idea. You might like it. You give everybody that is, beyond a certain age, $200 a month. The catch is they have to spend it. So they can buy their medicine, they can buy their food, their housing, they're taken care of. Anything left over, they have to spend it or give it away. So we know all of our old people have enough money to survive on, and it can help stimulate the economy just by them spending their money or giving away what's left over to other needy people. It's an interesting idea, okay? Now, labor unions were upset because they didn't feel like the National Recovery Administration went far enough to help the unions, and so they began calling it the National Runaround. So they're getting hit on, he's getting hit from the left, and then the Supreme Court comes in and strikes down a bunch of this stuff that's unconstitutional, the NRA, the AAA, other things is unconstitutional here, okay? And so Roosevelt's getting hit pretty hard from both sides, wouldn't you say? Okay, but he is going to press forward, and he's got some other things he wants to do to help people. Okay, so as we move into, 1935 and 36, the second 100 days, it's not really chronological here. It's just a term that's used by the media. Okay, going to look at reform instead of recovery. Recovery from the Depression. Now we're going to reform the system. Okay, and so he's looking at income for the elderly and laid off workers, which is kind of what Dr. Townsend was trying to do. How are you going to pay for that? That's what Huey Long wanted to do. Soak the rich with taxes, right? Every man, big king type thing. And then help labor unions, okay? This is one of my favorite pictures of Roosevelt here. Great smile. He's got the, the cigarette filter thing going on there, driving his car. And then this is a pretty good political cartoon. This is out of Rochester, New York, 1937. FDR's $5 billion 6-year works plan. Streets, highways, irrigation, drainage, flood control, buildings, equipment, soil conservation, slum clearance, recreational areas, sewage, forestry, game protection, pest control, grade crossing, navigation aid, and assorted projects. As you can see, Congress over here sweating. How are we going to pay for this? Okay, so you guys can probably figure out what's coming with this first one. Social Security, okay? So that's actually the next slide, Social Security. And everybody in here has been through my first week or two of government class where we talked about Social Security, okay? So we'll go back into that a little bit and refresh your memory when you're ready. Still there? Social Security? Oh, when it runs out of money. Yeah, 23/7. Last I heard. Could be sooner than that now. I don't know. A lot depends on the economy, like how many people are working and so forth. Yes.
Would the government just have to keep people out of debt?
Or? If they run out of money, they'll either raise taxes or cut benefits. Which they won't cut benefits, so they'll raise taxes. Okay, so I don't know if I went through this with you guys very well at the beginning in government class, but there are actually 3 parts to Social Security. Did you know that? There's 3 parts. Did I tell you that? Huh? That's Medicare. And there's D too, with Medicare.
You can call the free number if you're getting all the money.
Yes, yes. Now, Social Security has how many parts?
3.
This would make for a good what?
List.
List.
Long,
Oh.
like five-point questions, something like that, 6-point question.
List and explain, that's 6.
All right. So this was passed with the Revenue Act of 1935. Workers pay in scratch small amount each month, okay? And the employers match. Anybody remember what percentage of your
6.
6.2? Is it 5? 6.2. Okay? And then your employer also matches that. This is called payroll tax. Okay, so if you own a business and you have employees, you have to pay 6.2% of their income to the government as a payroll tax. As the employee, that comes out of your check, that's 6.2%. Whether you're rich, whether you're poor, okay? Now, what you guys should understand, this is what's called means tested. Means tested. Now, this is not a problem for me. But people generally pay 6.2% on their income up to the first $109,000 that they make a year. After $109,000, you do not pay any more Social Security taxes on it. So if you make $200,000, you pay $109,000 of Social Security taxes, and that's it. Why do they cap it? Why do they means test this? You'll never get your money back out of it. Okay? Social Security is not welfare. If you don't pay into the system, you don't get it. You understand? It is kind of socialism, but it's not really. Okay, because you're paying for it yourself. Does that make sense? Okay, where if it's welfare, you might be getting something that you have put nothing in on. Follow me? Okay. So now this 6.2% is for the retirees. That's part one. Now, as I told you guys in government class, the average life expectancy in 1936 was 66 years old, and retirement was 65. So the average person would be on Social Security for 1 year. Okay. In 2012, 2022, I lost a decade, which means I'm getting closer to this. The life expectancy is closer to like 78, 79. So they did raise retirement age from 65 to 67. That's going to make a difference. I probably told you this, but I remember this is about 10 years ago in France. They raised the retirement age in France to 60. And there were riots in the streets, protests and riots in the streets. Old people don't riot. So this was young people saying, I don't want to work till I'm 60. Okay.
You can stop working before then, right?
Yeah.
Don't touch Social Security until.
Yeah, you just can't get it.
You can have your own.
Now, here's how it works today, guys. Today, you can get it at 62. You'll get a smaller check. You can wait till you're 67 and you'll get what ordinarily you would get. Or you can wait till you're 70 and you get a bigger check. Now, most financial advisors will tell you to do this. Okay? You get a bigger check. Now, what I want to do, but my wife probably won't want me to, is this.
Do it.
Because I might die and I need to get some of that money back before I die. You know what I mean? I've been paying into this crap forever, and I'm not going to see a penny of it if I die when I'm 63.
Don't worry, we're not gonna see a penny. And we're still paying.
Well,
it, so
no,
guess
you
how-
guys will be paying for mine, right? Because there's no Social Security fund anymore, because it's supposed to go into a Social Security fund,
It doesn't.
but it's empty. It's gone. There's no lockbox. As Al Gore used to say, there's no lockbox. We need a lockbox. And that was like one of the only things I ever agreed with Al Gore on. I was like, yeah, Al, you're right. We need a lockbox. Saturday Night Live did a great skit on the lockbox. Okay, it's great.
Can we watch it? I wanna watch
No.
that one with Gravitas.
The which one?
The one you're talking about.
Gravitas?
Gravitas.
Yeah, just YouTube Gravitas montage. The montage is a bunch of clips, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's part one, right? You pay in, when you retire, you still get some income, yes? Okay. Part two. Public assistance. Now, what you got to remember here, guys, there's different funding mechanisms. Okay, the 6.2% is paying for this. Now, this one, which is a federal/state program, so it's funded by both federal and state revenue, taken from general revenue. So this is in with the regular tax dollars that people pay on income tax. Okay, and remember, 47% of Americans don't pay any income tax. Okay, so this is for the aged, the blind, deaf, disabled, and for dependent children. Okay, I don't know everybody's family situation here, but I have had students in the past that had lost a parent. Okay, and if you were someone as a child that loses a parent to death, the surviving spouse and that child qualify for Social Security aid. Okay, this allows the surviving spouse to have some extra income to raise kids. And I think you get that check up until the age of 19. Okay, it kind of helps the surviving parent out. So I think most people like this. So, you know, I mean, they like this because you can't work or you don't want to work anymore. You can't work anymore. In this case, with disability, you can't work because you're disabled. You can qualify for this. And certainly helping children who have lost a parent, I think most people agree is a good thing. Okay. Social Security is one of the most popular programs we have. Okay, you're not going to do away with it. Okay, so everybody understands this part, this public assistance part, right? Okay, we have about, last I heard, somewhere around 8.5, 9 million Americans that are on full disability. Okay, so that's going to cost some money. Right? Is there any fraud with that? Like people say, I have an injury, and then they're out playing golf and they could be working and they're getting checks. Yes. That happens.
Is there any way to check that?
Yeah, they can open an investigation. Okay, the third part of Social Security is unemployment insurance. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is where this 6.2% comes in, is with unemployment. The money that the employers pay in for you goes into a kitty, and it helps pay for unemployment for laid off workers. Okay, and from what my brother-in-law says, is that basically he's very careful about who he hires. He has a small business in Houston. I don't know, he's probably got, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 employees, something like that, okay? You might ask your dad about this, Ellen. If you fire one of your workers or lay them off, it is actually you that are paying this for them. You are paying the unemployment. So he's very careful about who he hires because he doesn't want to get rid of them, because he's going to have to hire somebody to replace them, and he's going to have to pay for their insurance, their unemployment insurance. Okay? So you're like not double, but it's expensive, yes? Okay? So employers got to be careful about who they hire. Now, This is generally 26 weeks or a half a year, okay? 6 months. Now, there have been times, 2 months. There have been times where the economy's bad and like unemployment's really high and it's hard for people to find new jobs, that they will extend this. There's been a couple of times where they've extended this to 99 weeks. Okay. I remember back in 2009, 2010, they did this. They extended unemployment to 99 weeks. Now, some people think that's a good thing. Some people think this is a bad idea because I don't have to go find a job. I can just stay at home and collect unemployment.
Stop collecting them.
Mm-hmm. Had a former student here. Did that for a while. I won't say his name, but when he told me what he was doing, I'm like, dude, come on, man, get a job. I'm not telling you his name. What? No, it was a long time ago. Now, guys, when you're 18, you don't get unemployment.
Oh. How old do you?
I mean, you got to be on your own, I think, like, you know, living on your own.
If I pay Social Security,
Doesn't matter.
Does your employer do payroll tax?
it's not, but I'm paying Social Security, so.
Sex to suck.
Yeah. All right, so there's your 3 parts of Social Security. Good? All right?
Yes.
6 points.
And in government, we talked about, you know, how it's running out of money, the baby boom generation and so forth, people living longer. Your only fixes are to really add taxes, or cut benefits, or raise the retirement age,
Actually, cut the whole thing.
or a combination.
If you
Cut the whole
retire,
thing in general.
if you retire before the retirement age, you still get Social Security once you hit retirement age.
Yes.
There's a retirement age.
Now, guys, listen, this is a misconception young people have. Guys, I can retire today. I can call myself retired. I can go find a part-time job and be retired. I can be retired, but I can't collect until I hit a certain age. When we talked about Roth IRAs and your retirement accounts and your 401ks, you can't touch those until you're 62. So if I want to retire at 53, I better have a crap load of money that's going to get me through 9 years to pay for health insurance, you know, pay for my cars and gas and food and all that. You know what I mean? So I got to continue to work. I'm going to keep working. Does that make sense?
You got life, dude.
Yeah, we're not ready.
You're 53.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Do I look 53?
No, you said.
He is 53.
Do I look 53?
Are you 53?
Yeah, you are
Really?
53. You did the math.
48.
Lily.
My dad's 50.
Have you guys seen the new $1 bill?
Good job.
Good joke.
I can't retire because this is the new one.
Ever since you told us there was like a federal, whatever, like the note on the top of it, every time I like take a bill at work, I like read.
Yeah. Federal Reserve note?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Is it illegal to do art with money?
You are not supposed to deface the money or burn it.
I was trying to Google, like, a
So I
penny.
can't draw a
No,
mustache
so like,
on
you know, I was
the
in one of those restaurants where they like color all over the bills and stuff. And I was like, isn't this like a federal crime? No.
For art, it's okay.
Yeah, but they're not.
okay. Like, you know when you like.
I saw a
the
girl
bills, right?
made a dress out of like
$1 bills?
pennies,
Oh,
and it's totally legal.
I tried to Google it.
it's your money, right?
It said something about if it's minted, you can't do anything to it, but then it said like nickels are illegal. I don't know. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's illegal, but they're not gonna worry about a dollar bill. That's what I would say.
It's so legal, but
It's like a-
Another good political cartoon. You got this guy down here with the defibrillator paddles, Social Security trying to revive it, and then you can see Medicare next to it. For real, guys, these two entitlement programs chew up more than 50% of the entire budget. Okay? And these are two of the favorite, you know, programs we have, so you're not going to do away with them.
I'd rather use
Yeah, I don't know how you fix it, guys.
It is clearly decided in the letter.
Are we out of time?
Yes.
Or not?
2 minutes.
It's Monday.
Yeah.
We're working.
Sweet, right?
Yes.
There was a pickleball match again. It's Peter and I.
What?
Pickleball match. Peter and I, Sully, and Hallie. You just